everyone, how are we doing?
Hello. I'm well, how are you?
I'm good. We're going to do a quick review of There and Back Again, Mr. Dan Bird's fantastic event that was held at the Sanctuary.
Yeah.
First time. Now, I couldn't make day one, managed to get down there for day two. Owen was our representative there on the table, fighting it out. What did you bring on?
I brought back an old list, Gwahir and two eagles, Legolas on a horse with armour, Bilbo on a pony with sting, and of course the thieving swine that is Alfred.
Okay, can you tell me how is that fluffy?
It's Battle of the Five Armies.
I do not remember Bilbo on a pony with sting at Battle of Five Armies in Lake Town with Alfred when the eagles arrived.
No, it was at the end. Obviously they just somehow crossed.
So the timelines weren't even correct. There were 2 hours between each. Anyway, moving on.
No, it was towards the end of the battle when the eagles turned up and Alfred had somehow got himself lost in the middle of the enemy lines.
And where's the pony come in?
Well, there were ponies.
Okay, moving on.
What's more dirty is the fact that pony turns invisible, but we won't mention that because Damien will cry again.
Right, I need to know all. That sounds like not a very competitive list in most people's hands, but in your hands, how did you get on?
Well, it's a list I've previously taken to Stockport, and I lost the final against Ed and finished fourth. And in this one, well, I'm famous in the community for one thing only, which is I will score 100% on day one and lose 100% at day two. So at the end of day one, I was tied first with Matt Wielding.
Right.
And at the end of the day two, I finished 8th. So that tells you how my day two went.
At least you're famous. I'm infamous. Well.
Yeah,
right. So, what did you think of the venue? We've been to Sanctuary before. You've actually run an event. What did you think of the venue?
Well, Sanctuary is somewhere I go to often. I think the first impressions that most people get is it's huge.
Yeah.
And it is massive. There's so many tables. There's so much going on. But it is cold. And it was cold because it's winter. Me and Ed only run tournaments there in the summer for that reason.
Guys, it was Baltic, and I was quite okay when I arrived on the Sunday. I could see everyone else was kind of shivering and wearing triple, quadruple layers. It was like you might as well. It was actually warmer outside than it was inside at one point.
Yeah.
But kind of resilient to my magic resistance to the cold, dissipated by 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
I was Baltic itself.
You do get cold. But fun things on the first day, there was when we arrived, there was a chap setting up there's a computer games club who do retro games console stuff there occasionally. It did coincide with our tournament last year, and it coincided with Dan's this year. That's always fun. You finish your round, you go and play some Guitar Hero or some, I don't know, Street Fighter or whatever it is, Super Smash Bros. On whatever the first Super Smash Bros. Were called on the GameCube. Comment below if you can remember. I can't.
Right.
But it was fun.
Bit of a spoiler for the rest of this. Now, myself and Dan have spoken before. We were considering getting Dan in on this preview, but myself and Owen decided that
Read this afterwards.
Yeah, but it hasn't come out yet, so it could be a preview of a review. It's the Irishness. There we go. So yes, on this review, we're going to be quite critical about the event, not to knock the event down, but to help other TOs and Dan maybe find little tweaks of improvement that could be. And the first thing you said is it's cold. Can we change the temperature in Sanctuary? No. So can we affect the time in Sanctuary? And you mentioned the summer.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, obviously this one came about because, unfortunately, Slayer folded, and Dan didn't want to lose the connection with the Hobbit community that he gained through doing the events at Slayer. And Sanctuary is the next biggest place in the area. And they do run a lot of events for other systems. So there's a Malifaux tournament on day 2 there as well, which was a decent sized tournament. So we were bigger, obviously. But he's used to hosting events.
Okay.
He's geared up for it.
So, what were your thoughts on the scenery on the at the event?
So I thought top tables, very balanced. Bottom table was very balanced. It was mostly like, and as Gilla threw in, 2 pieces of woodland terrain, and there's something else like hedges or whatever to break up the terrain. The middle tables were hugely dominated by just hedges, walls, individual trees, which is great if you're playing against wood elves, because the usual wood elf problem is they go and run into the trees, you can't catch them. Great. But it does mean the mummock that was there was disproportionately affected. Shooting armies were making maybe 2 or 3 in the ways to get to something that was only maybe 12 inches away, which is incredible. Coming back to the versatility of building your army that we've often talked about, if you're relying on your crossbows to win you the game, you've probably not built a balanced army.
Yeah.
You need to have something else, or use the terrain. One of the comments I heard one player make was, because they're square boards, can we play left to right rather than across the table? So they noticed that the hedges ran favourably in one direction, so they played 90 degrees to that, and that meant it didn't favour either of them, which is quite good. I would like to have seen a bit more terrain, and I know Sanctuary are addressing that. And obviously, I brought my own terrain to help out with the scenery. And if you're running a tournament and you want more scenery, just put a comment out on your event, and people will bring scenery.
You see, I mean, that is fantastic, because I think most TOs are only running maybe 1, maximum of 2 events a year. The amount of Hobbit, because, I mean, real good Hobbit scenery is difficult to come by.
Yeah.
I mean, people make up their own. Shout out to Steve Crow, who is literally spending every single spare moment he has to try and get fantastic scenery.
And a lot
for his
of
event.
money, because I know he's building it from scratch, but having done it myself as well, the amount of money you end up spending, you might see on the board a resin well, and you think, oh, what's a resin well? It adds loads of character, but it's probably 6 or 8 quid, which when you've got 30 tables, that becomes a lot of money.
Now, if you're making anything out of resin yourself, you're looking at a base cost of around 60 quid, just how the funding. But aside from that, what would be fantastic is that if all the TOs had access to great scenery. Now, I don't know where this is going to go, but hey ho, it is disappointing when a TO does all the effort and puts it out there, has a fantastic couple of top tables, and then the bottom tables just seem like we'll throw a hedge here.
We had the same at Stockport in the last Stockport event, where some of the tables were complete nonsense or completely sparse in scenery, to the point where if you came up against a bow army and you didn't have a bow army, you had lost the game before you started, which is a shame, because tactics should be the winning factor. And the Lord of the Rings was made to have quite a lot of scenery, like up to 50% of the table of scenery. It's not easy to achieve that. Aiming for a third is pretty good. I think most of the tables probably did have about a quarter of the table of scenery, but it was heavy for the hedges and walls. Individual trees were quite common. Thankfully, most of them were based, which meant that you couldn't knock them over, which is my normal problem with trees.
Guys,
sleeves, you touch a tree and then...
Guys, listen, as a TO, if you have any requirements for scenery, if you just put a comment below, we'll try and put a video out. We'll try and support you guys.
Shout it out on the Facebook group. Will Champion borrow some of my scenery for his? And I know that at Stockport there was Jay Finnegan's Lake Town terrain. And I know people like Damien has got terrain he can bring around.
The list goes on. I'm going to stop you there, otherwise we're just going to be talking about scenery. Let's now move on to, how many games were there?
6 games.
How many did you play?
6.
How many did you win?
3.
You let the side down. Right, okay.
My dice let the side down.
Did you not use the dice I gave you?
No.
Yeah, he let the side down.
It was time for the One Ring dice to come back out.
But these are the WPS dice, the famous dice that nobody understands where they come from. Anyway, aside from that, who did you play?
Game 1, I played James Braund.
Oh, ouch!
That was a harsh draw, but neither of us have been to a tournament this year, and Dan seeds based upon the state of the rankings. So there was a lot of people who were unranked, and that meant I had to play James round one.
Wow. Now, I believe we've done a video with James that'll be covered soon enough. He brought his Rivendell Knights.
Did bring
you
his
brought
Rivendell.
your feathered
I brought
filth.
my feathered filth.
Your feathered filth. Feathered filth with Alfred Wizard Cap. You need to, if you're going to be using that sort of army, you have to do a conversion on Alfred and put him in a dress. Simple as that. You can't have eagles in
I'll
a
accept
dress.
that. I did do like Ghost Alfred to go with my Army of the Dead as well. So maybe I could do that.
Right, pure filth. Anyway,
King of the Dead has one light. It's pathetic.
Right.
But yeah, so I played Braundy game one. It was Reconnoiter.
Ooh.
His Saruman comes on turn one. Everybody except for Legolas comes on for me turn one. Legolas comes on turn two. For him, it was, I think, turn four when his Rivendell Knights actually walked onto the table.
So he's bringing horses onto the table, and your eagles are kind of like, hello.
There was a big rock about 12 inches on from his side of the table where Saruman was hiding out. I'd got to that rock at the same time that his Rivendell Knights rode onto the table. It was horrible. But he managed to get a good round of shooting in, caused 2 wounds to one eagle and a wound to a different eagle, which is quite scary.
Yes, it is. I mean, the eagles are filled with wounds, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yes, copious amounts of, what, is it 3?
3 wounds.
3 wounds, 2
yeah, defense 8. You'd think you could survive a round of shooting or two. Got to combat, he kills Gwahir, 1 round of combat.
Yeah.
But in return, I did the hurl of
You had some awesome spectators, so we're not going to divulge too much because we have to be careful what we say. But you had some very, very special spectators at that point.
A certain Mr. Troke.
Woohoo! I didn't say it, he did.
Was watching, and he even said the words to me, Owen, I don't get your army, neither the theme nor how it will work.
I'm going to stop there. Did you win?
I did win.
Does he now get your army?
He does.
End of story. Let's move on.
Although he does still think that eagles are a bit rubbish. But what can you say?
Sorry for rushing this. Game 2.
Game 2, Lords of Battle. I played the crazy Anuj. His
Wood elf, archers,
Mirkwood Rangers. With a Legolas on foot with cloak and armour, and a normal Mirkwood captain with the glaive. And it could have been horrible. There was a wood in his terrain half, in his table half. If he'd have placed all his elves in the wood, he would have beaten me. He only placed half his elves in the wood, and even they came out of the wood, and my eagles got a hold of them.
End of story.
And that really was the end of his whole army. You know, a hell here or there.
Nudge. Use the woods, my friend.
That's where you can cheese it with scenery if you wanted to, because eagles can't go into woodland.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I had Legolas. I'd started the game by sitting 24 inches away from one man and making sure that one man was the only person within 24 inches for every shoot phase. So I could kill one man. At worst, he could shoot me with one man.
Gotcha.
So I would have done that for half an hour to an hour if I had to, if that's what it took to get him out of the wood.
Again, quickly.
Yes, another win. Yeah,
we are.
High VPs.
Woohoo!
Because it was a cap Lords of Battle where it was
21, wasn't it?
So it was multipliers. I killed twice as many as he did.
What did you think of the caps?
I think
scenarios?
I like it because I often bring up all hero or monster mash, and I think so often at the end of the tournament I finished on 4 wins out of 6 or 5 wins out of 6 and finished so low down just because I haven't got many VPs.
Yeah. And
I don't think the game was ever supposed to be... I don't think tournaments should be won because of your performance in one round.
Yeah.
And if Lake Town walk off the board with 65 models in one round, I can't get that in a tournament.
No.
I think that's a bit harsh.
Yeah.
And then I finished the day playing Domination, which only had 3 capture points across a diagonal of the board, against the Mummock of Jack Render, which the poor guy, the middle objective was in a building. I made sure that one of the objectives, because I got to choose where one of the other objectives went in a woodland, and so the other objective then was in the open. He was always going to struggle because he couldn't get to the one in the building without getting out of the Mummock. I'm going to stop you on that.
Isn't... Because he could get out of the Mummock, he could actually get to the one in the building. Yeah. So therefore, he didn't have a tournament right to call a TO to ask the building to be moved.
And it was his prerogative. He could have asked. And if he'd have said to me, can we move the train around? I don't know. I probably would have diced for it because all that. But I still would have played the game the same.
Yeah.
I still would have done to him exactly what I did, which was effectively Legolas on a horse can move 5 and shoot. I moved Legolas round a piece of scenery with the Mummock.
Yeah.
The Mummock can only move in straight lines, having to overshoot every single time. And I just kept shooting his bowman first out of the howdah and the Beastmaster, and eventually he knew he was going to lose the game.
Yeah.
So what he did, and it was probably one of the moments of the tournament for me, was he charged his Mummock as close as he could get to the building, and at the front of the Mummock there's those cross pieces of wood. They were overhanging the middle objective, and he ran one at a time, every single man out of the howdah,
Onto that,
making falling damage, and managed to kill every single one of his guys. Only one survived, and I shot him with Legolas. So I ended up winning domination because he killed himself.
But here's a question, though: is it a bubble of distance from the objective, or is it?
Yeah, but it's 3 inches within.
So you're going to call it bubble then as well, bubble in height.
But he still was more than 3 inches above because the Mummock's about. I think we measured it as 6 inches at the very front with the way he'd built it.
Okay.
So it was hilarious, and you know what? Like when you bring a Mummock to a tournament, you don't expect to win every game. There's going to be a game that you
talk to Dan Entwistle at Ripon.
Didn't win every game.
You didn't have to. You came second with 3 Mummocks, but a hail.
You don't expect to win every game, and therefore your attitude to each game is a lot more positive, I think. The same with the Eagles. I don't expect to win every game, and actually.
We're speaking about Mummocks. I want to jump in, and I'm going to go very quickly back to Ripon for a second. Yeah. After Ripon, Dan Entwistle and myself spoke about Mummocks, and he said he was going to put it on the Facebook page or put it in asking for a vote or an FAQ. Should Mummocks be able to destroy buildings?
No.
They were able to at Ripon. That was one tournament. They weren't here at Sanctuary. Bringing a Mummock, when do you ask as a Mummock player, the TO, if something can be destroyed or not, before you decide your list at the tournament? What?
I would say all TOs should go by the rule that you can't. For a simple reason, my Eagles can't destroy woodland.
Very true.
Felbeast can't destroy woodland. Normal guys can't destroy a building when there's guys stood at the top of the building who they can't reach. You can't complain almost to make the rules the way you want them to. You have to adapt. And I would say that a simple way of adapting your list is, if you want to bring a Mummock, is maybe to think about what you're putting in it and think about if those things could survive not in the howdah. Could they do a little bit of clearing out? Sometimes it might be worth not having most of the men in the howdah.
Yeah, okay.
Or finding other cheesy ways of winning. Which
I don't want to deviate too much from Sanctuary, but I will just throw one thing in. When someone brings the bomb, you need to have buildings, because buildings can take damage effect. If you start putting damageable stats on a building, therefore you're opening it up to other things.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that, but that's just something to...
Yeah, you can get batter points then, and then you could get...
it goes on.
You get rams as well, can't you?
Yeah,
rams.
So perhaps that needs at some point, for TOs in general, just to make a ruling. If buildings can't be destroyed other than the bomb or the battering ram, but not by hooligans.
Or maybe having sometimes a gentleman's agreement. I've seen it happen quite a lot with people playing against Mummocks. If it's a competitive game, they just hide all their guys in the woods. I would say, if you know that you're not playing at a competitive level, don't put your whole army in the wood.
Yeah.
Don't be that guy. You don't have to play like that.
Dave Reed, thumbs up to you. Dave Reed pulled me because I was a TO on Sunday, believe it or not. Partially. Dave Reed pulled me over, and there was a difficult ground aspect, and we all ruled together that it was swamp, which is still difficult ground, but doesn't affect Mummocks.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Then Dave Reed put all his models in the woods. Anyway.
As he does. But then he did that to Dan Entwistle in a competitive tournament. Yeah. You've got to do it at the competitive level. Yeah. So into day one, I'm happy. I've won all my games. I played on nice tables. I've played against interesting people. Jack Render really, he's got a great name, but he's a really nice person to play against. You know,
I think the name's nice too.
his name's amazing. Braundy's always good to play against. I've been playing him for years. And
Mr. James Braun to me.
Yeah. And Anuj, he's very new to the scene, but he's learning at such a rate.
He is.
And actually, at the end of the game, when we shook hands, he was like, straight away, what could I have done differently? And that's a great example for new players. If you get battered and you think you could have won it, ask what your opponent thinks. Most of us will probably go over it with you and point out a few things.
Yeah.
Hopefully not overwhelm you with ideas. Because sometimes it can just be as simple as
should have left your
entire arm in the woods.
Yeah.
Sometimes it would be you should have called a heroic move when I was 5 inches away or whatever.
Okay, so
evening
great
Murph.
night out.
Yeah. Fantastic. We went to a buffet, which it's not a great buffet, but the company was good. There was a load of us there from the tournament. Dan came out as well. And we ate loads of food, and then quite a few of us went back to the 281, as we so often have done in the past. And then we're joined by Adam Troke again.
Woohoo!
For some merriment and mirth. And we played this really weird board game called Resistance, which we played before. Basically, you have to try and work out who the spies are in the room. And what it boils down to is people screaming...
This isn't a deviation from the tournament. This is part of the tournament.
This is part of it. Grown men screaming at each other, fueled by fatigue, too many games in one day, and alcohol.
You're getting old. Stop it. You're getting old.
Come like 1:30 in the morning, we were still going, and we decided to call it a night there.
Yeah.
And next morning I woke up.
Oh, people were just dropping into Sanctuary like the zombified dead. Making
the Knots
their way.
guys went out as well. That never helps them. But I was just feeling so tired.
First game starts at 10 o'clock. I'm there. I know I'm going to be a potential assistant TO. No sign of Dan. We are now 2 minutes to 10, and I'm about to open my lungs and start running procedures without having a clue of what's going on. And Dan walks in. And trust me, I think he was dragging 3.5 coffins behind him.
And just a small thing, Dan was using Challenge, as he always does. And this time he tried out a thing where you register your email address to your standings, and effectively every round it emails you what player you're playing and what table you're playing on, which was actually really good because it meant it wasn't everybody crowding around a screen. No. It was as quick as whapping your phone out, scrolling down a bit, look, there's me, done. And that was really good. You could also then check your own standings, keep on track. So at the start of the day, everyone knew where they should be.
Except for me.
Except for
thinking that I had to run this thing. But luckily, Dan arrived and went, they all know. 10 past 10. Yes, right. Okay.
And so, game one, seize the prize with 2 prizes. Trying to get them off your opponent's edge, but with points for breaking.
And minus points for
holding the prize in your own table edge. And I'd drawn Matt Wielding, who's a really cool guy, and he had brought a dragon with fly, Sharky and Worm with loads of berserkers. And I was there at the start of the game going, if he spreads his guys out, I've won. If he puts them all together with the dragon and goes for just 1 prize, I'm going to struggle.
Yeah.
At which point my dice went, Owen, I don't like you anymore.
How many 2s did you roll in the first hour?
I honestly think, and Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, I think in the whole game I probably rolled maybe 5 6s at most. And Matt was rolling distinctly average, but he only needed to get 5s or 6s here or there to make sure he was beating me. 3s most of the time. But neither of us could either dig up the prizes either. So we had at least 2 turns where I had an eagle on one prize and he had a dragon on another, and we couldn't dig the prize up.
Yeah.
I had a beautiful moment where Bilbo charged into the dragon, thinking an eagle and Gwahir would follow him. Gwahir, we then realised, was slightly out of range by like half an inch. And the eagle fails its courage, so the dragon kills Bilbo. And as it is, Bilbo has a lot of fate. I think I passed 1 of the fate.
Yeah.
So yeah, it wasn't a great start. But you know what? if you're going to lose to somebody, Matt's a good person to lose to because you have a laugh.
All right.
And he did everything he had to do. Like I said, I knew that if he'd separated his Isengard from his dragon, my Eagles would easily have killed the dragon on their own without any magic support. But with magic support, what can an eagle do? It can't do naff all. Round 2, hold ground. So it'll be round 5, hold ground. I drew Jamie. I always loved playing against Jamie, except for the fact that normally one of us is in a bad dice moment.
Yeah. How did it go?
And I lost. Dice didn't help, but what didn't help especially was the fact that early on, Jamie was rolling some really good 50-50s. And it was like 4 in a row 50-50s that he won.
Yeah.
Which meant he managed to tidy up a fair bit of the battlefield. And actually, the middle barely came into it in the end, because most of the battle was decided within 6 inches of the board edge. And I only beat the ring wraith in 1 round of combat in the whole game, knocked him off his foul beast, straight out, gone. But that was 10 turns into the game or something.
Last game?
Will champion. Now, me and Will, not really playing for very much now. Will could get 3rd. I think if he won and the right combinations lost, I think I could get 4th. And he had Isengard, crossbow heavy, I had Eagles.
Rascu?
He did have Rascu. And we looked at each other and we went, it's not really going to decide very much. And I went, I could sit back and shoot you with Legolas slowly for the game. You could sit back and shoot me crossbow for the game. Let's just kill each other.
Yeah.
And kill we did.
Did you have fun?
We did, and we rolled far too many dice. In the way rolls, because we were on a table with quite a few walls that were running like that across the board. And so it was like, you'd had like 2 or 3 in the way rolls shooting Legolas. Legolas would do his little sniper shot back.
Yeah.
Eagles flew in, hurls going everywhere, and it was really cool. And if you keep doing that, I'm going to get annoyed. And basically the game boiled down to the fact that we were both not going to be able to get to each other's general.
Right.
And once you can't get to each other's general and you're both broken, you're going to get a draw. We drew. And it was hilarious and it was satisfying, but it ultimately meant that we were both stuck in mediocrity. So I finished 8th, he finished 7th. Not much to say about that, really.
Great event, though.
It was, and it was great to see. There was loads of people there who were newer to the league.
Yeah.
There were loads of the vets there. There were people turning up just for the day like yourself, Jay Clare, there was Adam. James Long came and did some filming of some of the stuff.
Wow.
I think that's going to be on the GBHL podcast, so keep your eyes open for that.
Brilliant.
And computer games, merriment, mirth.
And obviously, we both know we'll go back again.
Yes, yeah, and I will be going back, so we're running an event there.
Dan is an amazing TO, really, really nice, really approachable. And his systems and the whole aspect of his game, his tournament's brilliant.
Yeah.
We can't knock it, mate. We can't knock it. Keep up the good work.
And so, just to give you a breakdown, in case you missed on the main page who won, it was 3rd place went to the lovely Ed Balls with his Fell Beasts of Doom. I think he missed out from like 1 loss that he got early on that messed it up for him.
Yeah.
We had 2nd place was Harry Moore.
Brilliant.
Haven't seen him for a number of years. He used to be a regular feature on the GT scene.
Did very well.
Now he's back, and his 2nd place is good.
Yeah.
I think he was using Hobbits with Galadrim. And then 1st place, Alan Liddell. Well done,
mate. Well done. And the Scots are down here. They're taking over. Good on you.
Picking up from where Chris Murphy has been, and Chris couldn't get there, so maybe that was why Alan won. But he took, again, speaking of Chris Murphy, he's famous for using Goblin King, Moria Shaman, and Shadow Lord. And Alan had similar. He had the Goblin King, Moria Shaman, and I saw he had a troll, a normal Moria troll. So very unusual to see at tournaments these days. But the fact that he won the tournament says it all.
Yeah.
Well done, Alan.
Real nice guy. Real nice guy.
Yeah, and he also led the games on Saturday evening in the bar, speaking to us with his incredible Scottish accent. So
He's a good lad.
He is a good lad. So, yeah, that was There and Back Again.
Fantastic.
Hopefully we'll be there and back again.
And on that note, we're going to leave you guys. Subscribe.
Yeah, do your commenting down below if you've got anything to say. Obviously, if you've got feedback for Dan.
Please, most definitely, because anything you pass on, Dan will get access to it, but we'll have a chat.
Shout him out anyway.
We will, okay.
And share it if you feel like it.
All right, guys, listen, thanks very much, and speak to you soon. Bye for now.
Bye.